everyone, welcome back to my second try, this time with a different sound setup, so hopefully the sound will turn out better now. This is the first match of Group F, AnotherDinosaur versus Archnemesis. AnotherDinosaur in green, Archnemesis in red. So let's just look at the setup. So the first thing to notice is obviously that the setup is not as random as it was in the previous match of Group H. But it's also not quite perfectly symmetrical. Archnemesis has this very handy barrier here, which you can use to shield from basically any threat that green might come from. I'm not quite sure because I can't test it right now, but it looks like you might be able to position the MG in a way that you can cover all sides and all buildings, which is a very huge advantage if there is gonna be a shootout, because there's also only one MG, which also means that he basically from the distance only needs to take care of not being killed by that one MG if he is holding down that position. The shotgun guy, of course, can easily move through the small gaps in between the buildings without being killed immediately by the MGs, which are probably being used to cover long ranges here in that area. But of course that goes also for AnotherDinosaur, which also can use the shotgun to close in on that position. And the shotgun might just, if he actually manages to get it back up here without being completely spotted all the time, he might be able to cross in from the side. But then that's not something that's gonna happen in 2 turns. So it probably also depends largely on how the opponent is positioning his enemies, his soldiers. So other than the shotguns, we also have the grenades, and naturally you can really use the grenades to full effect here to kill any soldiers in those closed spaces, which are very good for hiding, but also easily caught out with the grenades. So what is the best course of action is hard here, because it really depends on what the enemy is doing, but it will probably be a huge advantage to whoever gets the better backbone defense with his MG, and then the first shot with that soldier. Green itself doesn't have anything particularly interesting as a position. The MG is not positioned very well in the beginning. He also has no cover whatsoever to put pressure on red, which is very disadvantageous. The shotgunner is far away from the position where he could move in. The only thing that looks very nice right now in that position is that the grenade is sort of free, and maybe if he's quick enough might actually be moving up here without red noticing it, if he can make it quick enough, and then might be able to throw a grenade right back into where the MG would likely hide in the first 2 rounds. Yeah, so let's just see what moves are gonna happen now. Yeah, so as expected, the MGs were used to cover long range. The upper red MG didn't actually go to the window, because obviously he would also be a little bit more exposed there. But then again, he loses the viewing angle on everything that happens on the right side. Right now, red does not know what happens back here in that lane, which might become a problem later on if green decides to push forward. At the same time, green decided not to go through that route, which actually might have worked. Like, as I said, if green would have moved that grenade up here and tried to cover this area and then maybe move in here with the grenade guy, he might have actually killed the shotgun or the grenade guy with a good shot. And red is also moving forward with the grenade through these spaces, which are basically safe terrain because the MGs will definitely be expected to cover this area here. Whereas Green was just trying to consolidate his units and see. Basically, Green is more trying to react to what Red is doing, and Red is going to be more aggressive right now, which is very surprising because I really would have thought that Red was in a better position to defend the whole the start. Okay, so what might happen now? As already stated, Red is trying to move in, and since there was no opposition, and he obviously knows that Green left the area, he's probably going to try to push in further. Especially, and that is another huge disadvantage for Green right now, that Green has no idea what these guys are doing and where they are positioned. Red knows exactly that Green was moving back, trying to consolidate defenses, and Green does not know that Red is moving forward quite quickly. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be in the next turn, but that shotgunner is probably pretty safe to move forward. Either along here, or probably not in the building, because it all depends on where the grenade guy is now aiming at, which is basically a toss-up if he's trying to guess if it's outside the building or inside the building. But then again, the shotgunner might even be quick enough to move past here if he throws a grenade. So interesting. That grenade guy is still pretty useless because he can't reach anything, and Red probably also knows that. So maybe he might just pull it forward some more to get a shot off in the third round. And I'm not sure if those guys can see each other. They might have already seen each other. But Red has no actual disadvantage of letting this guy stay there, so I suppose he will just wiggle him around and keep him on that position for a while because it still covers most of the area here. And the other MG from Green, I'm not sure what he can do actually. He could try to move in, but he has no clue whatsoever, like especially if he doesn't know where this guy is standing. This MG doesn't, like Green doesn't know where Red is positioned. Maybe if he knows that Red is positioned there, he could try to move in and try to get past that window so he can get in from behind, but that is also going to be really tough because it then also has no defense whatsoever if those guys come back here and he needs to defend from the back. Okay, so let's just check what happens in round 2. Alright, round 2 was more or less as expected. Let's see that again. So we had that shotgunner obviously moving in from directly here on next to the building, which also I'm not even sure why he got that one shotgunner. They were both moving. I actually don't quite know why he got that shotgunner. Like this guy is moving slowly and he's moving quickly. Might be that the red guy was out of the range of the aim. No, that can't be it. Seriously, what is going on here? Usually, the slower shotgun would win such a fight. And I have absolutely no clue what happened here. That is baffling. Maybe one of the players knows more why this happened, because I have honestly no clue. So I'm just gonna ask in the thread later on. Other than that, as I said, it was sort of expected that the shotgunner would move in. He also has a prime entry on this guy, like the grenade guy can't escape at all. Especially because he's also right now shooting a grenade, which by the way you never should throw a grenade if that grenade doesn't explode on the same round. I mean there are some super small exceptions, but you basically shouldn't do that ever. But now he is throwing that grenade, which probably also won't hit that guy because you can close in and follow the grenade wherever he's going. So yeah, the grenade guy is definitely dead next round. Yeah, this guy also moved forward, which he tried to get in a better position back here. As expected, also the MG was trying to get stationed, and this MG moved forward because he basically has no other chance. He also had no real he also had no situation in sight that he could actually handle, so he needs to go forward to actually have an impact at all. Okay, turn 3. Yeah, as expected, the grenade down here was, of course, immediately killed. He might have even been able to save it if he had run into one of the other buildings right next to it and then just hide behind walls. But in the end, it was just a matter of time. That grenade guy would have died sooner or later anyway. That was a smart move though. That little walk on the side to get rid of any possible stray grenade that would have been thrown in the middle. That was a smart move to give that shotgun a little bit more defense. In the meantime, I didn't even notice that he also moved the other MG forward. I'm not 100% sure why he did it, because he would have needed to see this MG in an earlier round to actually have the confidence to just walk in there with fast tempo and kick someone who is slow. And this MG also is like super unfortunate right now because he is not aiming in that direction at all. Because he tried to cover the shotgun that might have reached him. But I mean, it was rather obvious that the shotgun would go for the grenade guy first. So he really should have covered upwards. And then the game might have even had some more life left. Like, if he actually had covered this area, he definitely would have killed. Oh no, well, he wouldn't have, because he could have just still escaped. Well, I mean, that's still going to be interesting because the green guy could still escape, I suppose, but not sure how close it might be. So let's just look at round turn 4. Yeah, okay. So basically, he was already too close anyway and couldn't escape anymore. But well played from Red. That was a nice attacking move with the coverage from the top from the MG, and then moving in with the shotgun. That was basically a perfect use of how the shotgun could be used. One advice that might have helped AnotherDinosaur was seriously to not leave this space wide open, because by doing so he completely gave up the control over the whole match. Like, Red was already controlling this area and basically already this area if he had some way of covering it with the MG. But the shotgunner moving in from here was the death sentence. There was really nothing much you can do other than this really peculiar thing. Like, why? How did that happen? I still really don't get what happened here. Anyway, I'm just gonna let the whole match run out again in full without any commentary, and then I'm gonna end this video. So maybe until the next video.